Hello, I'm Brian LaBelle at AWWA ACE 2022 in San Antonio, Texas. Visited by Travis Kennedy, publisher at Water Online, longtime friend and colleague. It's good to see you again. It's been a couple of years.
It has been. It's great to be back. I mean, if you walk around this show floor, you can feel the energy.
Absolutely.
The fact that it's been 3 years since we've all been able to get back together in a capacity like
That's
this.
right.
How great is this?
It's fantastic. We still have people out at lunch at the moment, but the morning was just crazy.
Every time I walked by your booth, Brian, it looked like the Rolling Stones might have been playing.
Tell you what, it's been one of those things. Well, part of it is that kind of that pent-up demand. You know, people haven't been out in this environment in 3 years, but we've also got quite a few new products out here that are creating some buzz, and so that's helping to drive some interest in the booth as well.
Without a doubt. There's a lot of good stuff here. I just got a chance to walk through a little bit this morning, and there's a lot of good stuff happening here, Brian.
We'll get to GF,
Okay.
but tell us a little bit about Travis Kennedy and tell us about Water Online. What is it that you guys do?
Sure.
Remind our audience.
Absolutely, I'd love to. As Brian had mentioned, I'm Travis Kennedy. I'm the publisher for Water Online, and Water Online is the online destination for this marketplace. So what exactly does that mean? Well, we're your first stop for industry news, for vendor announcements, for product information, any type of gaps that you have in the information and data that you may need to do your job better. We help try to fill that gap, as well as bring vendors and suppliers together. So we have vendors that we work with, a lot of which are represented here, and we help bring those vendors to the buying audience, which is you. So we look forward to continuing to do that, and I'm really happy to be here.
We've enjoyed working with Water Online for a long. It's that step beyond the printed publication world, and you really helped us with that storefront and everything over the years. So thanks for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, what are some of the new things you see going on in the industry? You know, I mean, we've been talking about trends and over the years, but what have you been thinking about? What's been driving your content lately?
Well, I have to tell you, being here is validating a lot of what we've been doing at Water Online, a lot of what we've been writing about, a lot of the information we've been bringing to the marketplace, and there's some major trends out there that a lot of companies are aware of, but perhaps some aren't. Some of those trends include infrastructure. It's been a big topic, talking from a politics standpoint, where money's coming in, and we're starting to see that. A lot of vendors here at the show at ACE 2022 are seeing that come through, and a lot of municipalities are starting to see the actual dollars.
There's projects. There's a lot of project activity. There's
Absolutely.
no doubt about it.
So that is certainly helping.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've noticed that we've been talking about for a few years is that shift into a digital transformation type world.
Yes.
So if I was going to steal one of your phrases from 5 years ago, you saw this coming down the pike, is we are more connected now as a world, as a population, than we ever have been in the history of the...
We do live in a connected world.
Yes.
More and more.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
So digital transformation is happening, and it covers a lot of ground, and there's a lot of points that we can talk about as it relates to that. And then the third thing that I want to touch on after digital transformation is the turnover in the workforce. We've been talking about that for years as well, but we'll get to that. But you want to start with...
on the digitalization platform, obviously that's been a driver for our process automation portfolio for, since the beginning. But we're seeing digitalization more and more throughout the piping systems portfolio as well.
It has to be. I mean, there's a number of facets that it touches, and it's really impossible for it to not impact multiple aspects of the processes that GF Piping Systems specializes in.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it could be from the actual piping itself. We're now getting greater visibility into where new piping is needed, what kind of piping is needed, what performs better than others.
And the digitalization starts way before the products are installed and in use in the plant. In fact, the design phase with 3D models with metadata supporting all of our products, make it easy for these 3D systems to be designed, but also we see digital twins and simulation and that sort of digitalization that allows the testing of a system before it's even ever actually built and in use. And so there's a lot of optimization that can come out of that type of digitalization right up front in a project.
I mean, the main point of it is you can't make the right decisions without the right data.
Yeah.
And you can't get the right data without getting the data first. So what do we do with that? Well, there's a number of ways that we can get the right data, and there's a number of things we can do after we get that data to help us make informed decisions.
Absolutely.
Right, and there's a lot of things that GF Piping Systems is doing now and has been doing for the past however long, 18 months, 24 months, seeing this coming, and addressing it and providing the right kind of solutions for for your customers.
Oh, you bet.
Speaking of customers, the customer population has changed a lot. I mean, I know that you and I have talked on Water Talk a lot about the aging workforce now stepping down.
Yeah.
So we've seen it coming, but now it's actually happening.
Yeah,
What do you see
we're
out there?
seeing the number of laborers reduced, but also the average skill level. So the problem with the lack of skilled labor out there is creating an opportunity for for companies like GF Piping Systems. It's really driving our off-site engineering and prefabrication business.
Tell me more about that.
So rather than delivering a bunch of pipe and fittings and valves and sensors and instruments to a job site and all of that assembly taking place on the job site, more and more there's less space, there's less time, there's fewer skilled laborers to do that assembly on site, and so we are picking up a lot of that slack. We're doing a lot of off-site prefabrication in our fab shops, our fab shop network around the globe.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah. We're closing in on 14 different fab shops, all operating to the same standards of assembly and test to get sub-assemblies out to the field and full integrated system. We're actually an off-site manufacturing overrun for some of our OEM customers as well.
I mean, that goes to show just how you're able to forecast what the market actually needs. So there's a lot of companies here that are playing catch up to that, and they're doing a good job at trying to catch up to what the actual issues and problems and the difficulties that utilities face these days. But GF Piping Systems was ahead of that, and that's part of what put you where you are right now in terms of the marketplace. So when we're talking about digital transformation for utilities, when we're talking about the new workforce coming in, there's a lot of, those are probably the two main topics that I hear the most at Water Online.
I agree.
That are part of what's the market saying?
And they're integral parts of our growth strategy. The digitalization and these, we call them specialized solutions that include engineering support. We're piping systems people, we're piping systems experts, and so we help the engineers that are designing the systems make the right choices, materials and joining technologies, clamping and supporting, accommodating pressure, accommodating temperature expansion and contraction, all of those things you got to think about to produce a reliable piping system. It's not good enough just to start with reliable components, but when you put those components together as systems, that's where our engineers really can get involved with the end users, the OEMs, the engineering firms to support those design efforts. And then we put it together.
Yep, I mean that's
prefabrication, off-site prefabrication, growing like wildfire.
Well, for part of your product offerings, that certainly is a growth market for you there. And I do want to say that it's really rewarding for me to watch GF Piping Systems evolve into this, because what utilities need more than anything at this point in time that I can take away from what I'm hearing in the marketplace, especially as it relates to the digital transformation, especially as it relates to the workforce turnover, is they need help in education. They need information, they need to learn, and they're open to learning.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. So if there's a vendor out there, and if any other vendor that's on this show floor were to ask me, what's the number one thing I can do to impact the market right now? Educate. Help first and educate. And that's been a lot of what GF Piping Systems has been doing for years.
Absolutely.
That I've been begging other vendors to take note and follow that same path. But you guys get it, and you've been doing it.
Yeah, we've got lots of things happening with training across the organization as well. So more on that topic next time.
Sounds good.
Travis, thank you so much for coming
by.
By.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Good talking with you. You take care. We'll
absolutely. Good to see you, Brian.